Everybody, I know it's been a little while. I had some family in town for my son's birthday. They were here for a whole week. So we went around and did the Las Vegas thing, Fremont Street, and John's Pizza for my son, and all that crazy stuff. And the other thing is, I decided to lose some weight. You know, in that Breakfast Tea and Bourbon vlog #1, I was playing with the kids. I was pretty out of breath there when I was in the park, container park. So I joined a weight loss program. 6 weeks, you lose 20 pounds. And it has been rough. I've been working out, I've been eating right. You saw the vitamin stuff, liquid vitamins I'm taking. I feel like I got pushed out of a moving van. But at the end of the 6 weeks, it'll be worth it. So I gotta say a big thank you to Ken. Ken sent me not one bag, but 2 bags of Scrabble letters. If you remember for Breakfast Tea and Bourbon vlog #2, I think it was #2, I got shorted the letter K from Michaels. And instead of just sending me the letter K, he sent me 2 bags of Scrabble letters. So as you saw in the intro, I got enough now. So thanks, Ken. And when you're trying to anagram something, I love using the Scrabble letters. It really helps. And we're going to get into anagrams. So I'm calling this video Odds and Ends. And what I'm going to do is just get caught up. There's a couple things I forgot to tell people. There's a couple things I want to tell people. And then there's some things that really don't fit, so we're just going to put it all in this video. So let's start with Forrest Fenn. Lugnuts sent me a very interesting email. You guys have got to check this out. Anybody that's read the poem, familiar with Forrest Fenn, you've got to check this out. The movie Inferno, based off the book by Dan Brown. The movie with Tom Hanks, where he plays Frank Langdon is the professor, I believe, from the Da Vinci Code. This is the movie called Inferno. Go to the 1 hour, 33-minute mark. He's on a plane, he's talking to somebody else, and just listen to what he says. It will blow your mind. Forrest Fenn, searchers, it will blow your mind. The movie Inferno with Tom Hanks, the 1 hour and 33-minute mark. Listen for about 2 minutes. When you do it, when you listen, put it in the comments down below what you think. It was pretty crazy. I couldn't believe it when I heard it. Makes me want to ask Tom Hanks, is he familiar with Forrest Fenn? The other thing is Diana had emailed me some time back, and sorry, Diana, that it took this long to get to it. But on page 21 of The Thrill of the Chase, she would like everyone's opinion. Look at the brim of the hat in the drawing that's on page 21, the left side of the hat. Look at it with a magnifying glass. Do you see anything? She wants to know what people think. She sees letters that form a word in that brim of the hat, and she wants to know if anybody else sees the same thing or not. When I looked at it, I don't see it so much, but I could be wrong. So put in the comments below what you think. The brim of the hat, page 21. This is the brim of the hat, and let me see if I can try and zoom in here. Those look like letters to you? Does that look like it could be a word? Focus. Let me know what you think in the comments. And Diana can put it out there what she sees. Let's see if we agree with her. Another treasure hunt is Custard Quest that I haven't mentioned before. Go to custardquest.com. That's custard, C-U-S-T-A-R-D, quest, Q-U-E-S-T.com, custardquest.com. Really neat hunts. There were 4 hunts. 3 of them have been solved. 1 has not been solved, and it sounds like it's in the New Jersey area. This one's more for the fun. Could be a good way to get kids introduced to treasure hunting. Custard Quest is if I remember right, a 12-year-old boy, Custard. And the guy who does these treasure hunts has hid stones around the United States. 3 of them have been found. On the bottom of the rock is engraved a serial number. You email him that serial number, and he puts, I think it's $200 in your PayPal account. So 3 of them have been solved. 1 has not. Email this guy. It's been a couple years since he's added a new story. Let's all email him and see if he'll add a couple new ones. I think it's a really cool idea. One of the stones was hidden here in Las Vegas. The stone was at the entrance to the Luxor Casino, if you can believe it. Anybody that's been to Vegas, been to the Luxor, there's the valet parking, and then there's the doors to walk in. Well, right on the right-hand side, as you're facing the pyramid, there's a little rock, I guess you could say, something made out of rock. I don't even know if it's real, but it looks like a little tiny mountain, and it's got cubby holes in it. And the rock was in one of those cubby holes. I was there. I looked in the exact spot where it was, and I must just not have turned over the right rock because I didn't find it. The clues were pretty simple for me living in Las Vegas. They were pretty simple for me to figure out that it was there. But another guy came along and found it a couple days, or maybe it was a week or two after I was there. So he got the $200. But also the cool thing about Custard Quest is the solutions are posted once people find the rocks. So you'll be able to read the 3 stories, see how he hid the clues in the stories. And then that 4th one, yeah. If you're in the New Jersey area, hit me up. It would just be fun just to find the rock, just to come up with a position, with a place to look. So that's Custard Quest. Check that out. Illinois Ghost. He did a Q&A with me, a couple weeks back now. Sorry, Illinois, that it took this long for me to mention it in the vlog. But if you go to his website, I will put the link up here or maybe down below in the comments. And just scroll down. He blogs every couple days. He'll put up what he's thinking about. He's a big Forrest Fenn searcher, been out many times on trips. And he was nice enough to do a Q&A with me, so you can go read up on some of my answers to his questions. But one of the things that I brought up that I'll share with you guys is I moved out here to Vegas in 2007, and the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop was on the History Channel. I think around 2008, 2009 is when the first season came out. The Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, you may even know it better as Pawn Stars on the History Channel. Rick, Corey, Chum Lee, and the old man that run Pawn Stars. So I had watched it on TV, thought it was a good show, had not been down to the store before, and didn't go down there to actually check it out. But I went to an estate sale, and I bought a whole box full of stuff. And one thing that I thought was really neat was a 1954 Brooklyn Dodgers baseball yearbook was in this box. I got the box for $80. So I put it on Craigslist. I like to buy things and resell them. It's kind of like a treasure hunt, when you go to an estate sale or a storage auction. I've done those too. It's another story. So yeah, this baseball almanac, I put it on Craigslist, and I get an email from a producer of Pawn Stars that says, hey, bring that on down to the shop and we'll film it. Maybe you'll be on a show. And I thought, great. So I go down there at 7 a.m. People are already lined up around the building to get in. The shop opens at 8 a.m. They were already lined up. Back then in the show's heyday, I mean, it was crazy bananas down there. So they bring me in at 7 a.m. It's me, Rick, it's a camera guy, a sound guy, and the producer. And if you've watched Pawn Stars, a lot of people think, is it scripted? Does this guy really know everything about these objects? It's not scripted. They did not tell me what to say. They did not tell Rick what to say. But what he did do is he looked at it and he took it in the back for about 5 minutes. So he researches these things on the computer. He pretty much looks them up. Then he comes back out, gives it back to me, and they're like, okay, go outside, walk in, as if you're just walking in the store. So in that way, you could say it's scripted and that I'm not just walking in off the street. You have to get a microphone set up and they have to get the sound right and all that kind of stuff. But at no time was I told what to say, and at no time was Rick told what to say. So I went in, I showed him the baseball yearbook. And if you remember, these are the Dodgers baseball. This is before they moved to LA. This is the Brooklyn Dodgers, okay? I wanted $100 for it. I spent 80 on this whole big box of things. I wanted $80 for it. He looked at it, we went back and forth, and he offered me $150 for it. He said it's worth about $250. I'll put it in the store for $200 and it'll sell. So I'll give you $150. So Rick actually offered me more money than what I was asking for. So hey, he's okay with me, But the weird thing is the show never aired, and I'm not sure why. If you watch Pawn Stars, sometimes when they come back from a commercial break, they show different items in the shop. And there's a shot of just my chest holding the Brooklyn Dodgers yearbook. And I know it's me because that's my yearbook, and also it was the jacket that I had on, which was a blue Adidas jacket. It's just a tight shot here of me holding it. But for whatever reason, they never actually showed the transaction where I actually sold it to them. So, okay, fast forward, let's see, maybe to 2014, I think it was. And I'm reading the Las Vegas newspaper, and it says, are you smarter than Pawn Stars? And I thought to myself, yeah, I think I am smarter than Pawn Stars. And apparently they were going to do a new game show. This one was not as popular as the Pawn Stars reality TV show, but it was called Pawnography. You got to watch how you pronounce that. Pawnography. And it was a game-style show where you answer trivia questions. You go up against Rick, Corey, and Chum Lee, Christopher Titus was the host. He's a well-known comedian, if you know him. So I emailed the email address on the in the newspaper, and it was supposed to be an open casting call at Circus. And this was like in the middle of summer. It's 100 degrees out. I'm like, I'm not going down there to stand in line. But I emailed the guy and just said, hey, if I'm interested, I don't know how a game show works. Never been on a game show before, but I'm interested. And about a week later, I got a call that said, okay, we're going to set up a Skype interview, because I didn't go to the open casting call at the casino. So I did a Skype interview, I think twice, had to answer trivia questions just to see if I was smart enough to be on the show, or just to get my reaction. And they ask you a bunch of different questions. How would you feel if you won $20,000? And then how would you feel and how would you react if you lost? And went back and forth over Skype. And they said, okay, thank you very much. We'll let you know. Well, about 2 weeks went by, and I figure, okay, well, that's the end of that. And then it was like a Thursday night. I get an email that says, Monday, 10 a.m., be there. You'll be on the show. So I head over there. There's a little recording studio behind the Palms Casino, for those of you that live out here in Vegas. It was a little tiny. You'd never know it by looking at the outside of it. It just looks like a plain building. But it was a whole studio set up inside with the cameras. There was a live studio audience. It's the whole thing. And boy, was I nervous. Get in there, you go through makeup, and then they get the live crowd going and cheering and yelling. And Christopher Titus, and they never told me who the host was. That was a big secret until that thing actually started and the camera started rolling. So Christopher Titus comes walking out. Cool guy, biggest teeth I've ever seen on a human before. And yeah, I was on the game show. And I'll post a link. You can actually watch it. It's on the History Channel's On Demand. So it's free to watch, but you have to already have the History Channel, because it makes you log in with whatever your cable provider is. So I'll show the link if you guys want to watch it. It was Pawnography Season 1, Episode 7, Lucky 7. My birthday's 7/7. Episode 7, World Cup Medal is what it was called. And the prize, the reason it was called World Cup Medal, is because one of the prizes, I forgot to tell you the premise. The premise of the show is that Christopher Titus and the producers of the show go to the Pawn Stars pawn shop that you see on TV. They pick items that are on sale in the cases. Rick can't say yes or no. They bring them to the game show, and I'm trying to win them. All the contestants are trying to win these items, okay? There were 3 items in our episode. See if I remember right. One was a signed picture of Dale Earnhardt. I think it was Dale Earnhardt, or maybe it was Dale Earnhardt Jr., standing in front of his car, his NASCAR car on the racetrack, with the Looney Tune characters all around him. And it was autographed by him. It was something I think Disney had set up or something. So there was that. There was a huge 4-foot-tall coffee maker, or coffee urn, that was supposed to be an antique. And then the last thing on the show, which is the big prize, was a 1970 World Cup medal. World Cup as in soccer. Apparently this was Italy versus, let's see if I can remember. Italy versus Mexico, I think. The last game that Pele played. I don't know. Apparently this was a big deal. I don't follow soccer, so that was the big prize at the end, was the World Cup medal. So you're going to have to watch the episode. Did I win? Did I lose? So it's me and another contestant. So one, I've got to beat that guy, and then I got to beat Corey and Chum Lee, and then I got to beat Rick in the end. There's a series of 10 questions that are posed to both of us, and whoever gets the most right. But then Rick tries to haggle you down, just like in the pawn shop. The item is worth so much, but he doesn't want you to leave with the item, so he tries to make you a lower offer, just like he does on Pawn Stars. So what do you think? You think I was smart enough to win? I hope you guys check out the show. I thought it was kind of neat. Episode 7. I'll put the link to it, and maybe I'll tell you guys how I did in a future vlog. So yeah, that was Pawnography. All right, back to Forrest Fenn. There's a line in the poem that does anagram to something very interesting, and I'm going to show you guys what it is. This isn't new. It's been out there. But if it's coincidence, boy, it's something. So the line of the poem is, "From there, it's no place for the meek." right? And now that I got these Scrabble tiles, thanks to Ken, we can actually play around with it. So check it out. From there, it's no place for the meek. What can we make out of these words? Well, probably a lot, because there's a lot of letters here, right? But check this out. Pitchfork. Pitchfork. All right, that's one word. How about R-E, realm of, these are the leftover letters, realm of horn. Pitchfork, realm of horn. Now we got these leftover letters. What do these mean? Well, let's see what we can do with these. Metteetee. Metteetee. Pitchfork. Realm of horn. You got it? All right, so how does Metteetee, pitchfork, realm of horn relate to the chase, the throw of the chase? How does it even give us a location? Well, Metteetee, if you've never heard of it, is a city in Wyoming. It's up in the kind of the Grable area, a little ways from Cody. Now, you should have heard of Cody if you've been working on the Forrest Fenn thing for a while. So we have a city, Metteetee. Pitchfork. There is a road that runs right through the city of Metteetee called Pitchfork Road. And realm of horn, the city of Metteetee is right in or next to the Bighorn Mountains. So Metteetee, Pitchfork, realm of horn, it all really does tie in. All right, breakfast, tea, and bourbon. We're still doing the book giveaway. I've gotten some responses in the mail. Thank you to those who have sent them. I'm going to cut it off next Friday, Friday the 28th. If I do not have it in my hand by Friday the 28th, close of business, then that weekend I'm going to pick the winner. So make sure you get them in the mail. If you get them in Monday, Tuesday, tomorrow, Monday or Tuesday, yeah, you should get them to me on time. So hopefully one of you will win it. So good luck to everybody that sent me a response and would like a copy of the book. One lucky winner is going to get it. So let's talk about breakfast, tea, and bourbon. The last vlog, I pointed out the differences between the book, the printed version, and the Kindle version. Pete did respond when he posted that video on his Facebook page. And when I think it was Dustin asked him the question in the comments, his reply was, I cannot comment on things that may or may not be clues. So I think it's intentional. I mean, if it's a mistake, I think he would just come out and say, oh yeah, it's a mistake. Here's the one you need to use. So I think it's intentional. The question is why. And I might have a reason why. That cipher line is interesting. You know, the letters are the same between both versions, right? The numbers are different. And let me draw your attention to a certain page in the book. What I find interesting is that there are 16 letters. Ignore the numbers on the letters. That's because they're Scrabble tiles. Thanks again, Ken. There are 16 letters, and those letters are the same between Kindle and printed book version. The numbers are different. And 16 letters, in chapter 16, it's something that I think is interesting as mentioned. Check it out, chapter 16. Friends who lived in Bali joined them for dinner. They all talked about the quest for frogs. One of their friends says, I know a carver. Let's get him pictures of these and see if we can carve duplicates. Tom quickly corrected her. Cousins, not duplicates, cousins. We have these 16 letters that are duplicated between the Kindle and the printed book. 16 letters duplicated between the Kindle and the printed book. And in chapter 16, he mentions the words duplicates. Now you could say, well, all the letters are duplicated between the Kindle and the printed version. Correct. But our attention are drawn to these 16 because this is a cipher that presumably we need to solve. And the numbers are different between the book and the Kindle. The letters are the same. So we have a cipher, 16 letters are duplicates. In chapter 16 letters, in chapter 16, he mentions the word duplicates. And if you read below that paragraph I just showed you, he said something about good juju. And what's interesting is if you look at our 16 letters, the word juju is there in those letters. J-U, and at the end here, J and another U. So he mentions good juju. We have the word juju. Could this be an anagram? You know, we already know that anagrams are one way that Pete hides clues because of the anagram in the first chapter that he pointed out to us. So, what word can we make? What words, plural, can we make with these letters? Well, we can make July, right? July. And we could make something else that's in the book, because whatever words we make, they got to tie in with the book somehow, right? We can't just make random words. So something they do in the book, and what do they do with the bourbon? Remember, it was the, if I remember right, the bourbon sidecar is what he showed us as an anagram. And what do they do with the bourbon sidecar? What do you do with bourbon? You toast it. They make toasts all through the book. And if we look, we have the word toast out of our letters that are in the cipher. Well, that leaves J-U-E-E-I-L-B. Do you see a word there? So our anagram of our cipher, not using the numbers because the numbers are different, and I think that's intentional to draw attention to it. July, Jubilee, toast. Okay, so July, Jubilee, toast. How does that relate to the book? Well, toast does because they toast all throughout the book, right? But July, Jubilee does relate in one way, the word Jubilee. In chapter 9, my froggy is named Nelson. She mentions Chevy Chase, right? And she says, let me read it here. But for 50 cents and a clue to my life, hey, why not? They're talking about the Chevy Chase novel, Fletch Lives. Well, I'd always thought it was either a clue to Thibodaux, Louisiana, because that's where Fletch 2 takes place, or Manhattan, because Chevy Chase was born in Manhattan. But if you read this particular line, but for 50 cents and a clue to my life, hey, why not? If you look up the word Jubilee, it's traditionally related with the 50th anniversary of something. It's a Jubilee for 50 years. 50 cents is in the line where she says, and a clue to my life. So maybe the clue isn't Chevy Chase or the Fletch. Maybe the clue is 50. That Jubilee is a word we're supposed to find. So, July, Jubilee, toast. Seems to me that wherever our location is, where the treasure is, has something to do with the 50-year anniversary in July. That's what I'm getting out of it. What do you guys think? In the last video, I said that I had 2 clues to Brownsville, Texas, and here they are. The story about the guy, or the kid that hijacks the plane and wants to go to Cuba and somebody from NASA stops him, that's a true story. And if you look it up and read about it, the kid that hijacked the plane was from Brownsville, Texas. In the book, Pete mentions they played Skip Bo. Skip Bo, the game, was invented in Brownsville, Texas. So, 2 seemingly random things. Is that intentional? I don't know. I don't see any of the other clues to Texas, but those are 2 to Brownsville right there. The other thing is the Hodaddy clue. Hodaddy, tisk, tisk, intrafly, prettify, or prettify, intrafly, South Georgia. If you notice South Georgia, the South is capitalized, capital S, capital G. That means it's a proper name. In the sentence after they mention it, somebody in there even says Savannah, and he says that's North Georgia, or she says that's North Georgia, and the N isn't capitalized. So South Georgia is a proper name. There is a South Georgia island. Look up South Georgia and the Sandwich Islands. And people know about this. It's on the Mysterious Writings forum, which you should check out if you haven't. There's some good info there on Breakfast Tea and Bourbon and Forrest Fenn. So South Georgia, you can read up on the island, but how does that tie into the book? Well, it ties in this way. One of the islands, or one of the areas of South Georgia, those islands, is called Bird Island. It's where all these different species of birds were. So I zeroed in on that right away. It's called Bird Island. And if you look on Google Maps, when you zoom in close enough, it says right there, Bird Island. In the book, he says, as the mockingbird flies, when really the line is as the crow flies, right? So mockingbird, he's pointing out birds in some way, possibly a clue. So when I see a Bird Island, I think, okay, that's interesting. You know, he mentions Prince a lot, right? Purple Rain, Prince. Paisley Park is the studio where Prince recorded his music. And if you look up where Paisley Park is in Minnesota, it is on Audubon Lane. I believe it's Lane and not Drive. Audubon Lane or Audubon Street. If you know anything about birds, you know who John James Audubon was. His whole life was about the study of birds. So we have the mockingbird clue. We have South Georgia, possibly a proper name, definitely, but possibly a reference to the South Georgia island. And in that island is something called Bird Island. Whenever I think of birds, John James Audubon is the one I think of because he's the one who did the study of birds. And in how it ties into New Orleans, there is an Audubon Park in New Orleans. It's named after John James Audubon, the guy who studied these birds. And more specifically, in Audubon Park, there is Bird Island. There's a Bird Island right there in the park. So my best guess at this point is that our treasure is in Audubon Park in New Orleans. The trick is where in Audubon Park in New Orleans. I know some of you have been to that park. They just can't make the clues fit. So what I'm looking for is what other references to birds can you find in Breakfast Tea and Bourbon? Because I think the Audubon connection is very interesting. Yeah, put it in the comments or shoot me an email. Let's see what we can find about birds in the book. So I think that's about it. Forrest Fenn, Breakfast Tea and Bourbon, Custard Quest. Check that one out. I've got, I hope, 2 new treasure hunts coming up next month that I'm going to tell you guys about. 2 brand new ones. I haven't heard too much mention of them anywhere else, so hopefully it's something new I can give you guys. Thanks everybody that's emailed me and contacted me. It's been fun to talk to everybody and hear different ideas. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe because more are coming. Share it and leave a comment down below. Thanks everybody. I'll talk to you next time.
Like this video.
Subscribe. Was it that
Subscribe.
Sub with a B. Subscribe.
I know.
Not subscribe. That's what you said.
Subscribe the video. And please like this video. Yeah. So we're going to be making a video about Play-Doh. Play-Doh.